Hi everyone, welcome back to Carnivore Granny Chats. This is part 2 of our carnivore diet hacks. You may or may not have seen these in other videos or places, but these are things that I feel are important for success with our carnivore way of eating, especially in the beginning. So let's get started. All right, let's jump right in with number 1. My first tip in this video is to track your progress, whether it's by taking weekly progress pics. Now, disclaimer, you don't have to post them or share them at all, but you can take them for yourself and take them weekly, definitely take them monthly, and compare and watch yourself change. Also, journaling is so important. I didn't do this in the beginning or at all. And so I didn't think that I had, that much healing to do or that much weight to lose. So I didn't track it. And so I have actually created my carnivore journey. And it's a journal for specifically for anybody doing a carnivore or keto low carb diet. In the beginning, the first page shows my why. And I think that's super important with some inspirational quotes. Um, each page tracks your for each day, and so it tracks your bedtime, your wake time, how you feel, what your food is, what your fat protein ratio is, what your emotions are like, what you did to be proud of yourself, what you're grateful for, and any thoughts and reflections. And so that's each day, and I feel like keeping that positive, upbeat, you know um, every day, whether you end the day with it or start the day with it, however you want to do it, I feel is important. And then at the end of each month, it has a progress tracker. And so you can track your measurements, your weight, and everything. And so you can see, on paper, even though maybe the scale isn't moving, which that's can be very common. And so this is a great way of tracking. It's specifically designed for your first 90 days of carnivore, and you can find it on Amazon. I'll post a link down below. But even if you don't use this journal, just journal. Grab a spiral notebook or whatever, and make sure you track that progress. All right, tip number 2 is prepare for the keto flu. You're going to be going through some carb withdrawals. You're going to have a transition time where your body transitions from burning carbs, which it's been used to, and to burning fat, which it wants to. So give yourself permission to have that 2-3 weeks of transition time, and know that you're not going to feel so great. You're going to be sluggish and kind of slow moving. You might have some gut discomfort, some bathroom troubles. I highly suggest keeping bone broth on hand. That can help any stomach issues. Some people feel like meat is, they have a distaste for meat in the beginning. They don't want to eat. Great, fast. That's the perfect time to fast. That is your body telling you, I don't want to eat right now. I want to spend some time healing. And so just fast or just go to bone broth. Make sure you drink plenty of water and stock up on that toilet paper. You might need it. I didn't experience any of that. Not sure if it was because I went off processed foods first or what, but yeah, I didn't, but I do hear it can be rather intense. So make sure you stick close to home and have some TP on hand, and give yourself grace in that period. Just understand that it's normal, and it's temporary. It's not a reflection of the diet, or you can't, your body's not cut out for the diet or anything like that. It's just, that's it. You have to transition over. Your gut just doesn't change like that. You have to transition. So yeah, that's tip number 2. Tip number 3. Kind of piggybacking off the whole, keto flu tip, is in the first few weeks, prioritize some rest and just gentle movement. If you like to work out and you put a heavy load on your body, know that until you become fat adapted, it's gonna be tough. You're not gonna feel as strong. You're not gonna be as fast. Things like that. So give yourself a rest time, and that you can just use it to heal. Just do some gentle stretches, some yoga, go on walks. Just keep it nice and mellow for a few weeks until you become fat adapted. Because once you become fat adapted, it's on, because you will have so much energy and you will feel so strong, and every workout will just be amazing. And bonus, you won't get sore after the workout. So I can have leg day and just be fine the rest of the day, not have any soreness. So um, know that that's coming, and and that's, you just have to get there. And so it just takes a couple weeks, and it can vary from person to person, but just know that it's temporary and you will get past it. Tip number 4, bone broth. I in the beginning I was like, oh, bone broth, oh, that just kind of delicious, and one of my favorite drinks. It has a tends to have a short shelf life. Say that 5 times fast after you open it. So make sure when you do open it, the package, that you drink it rather quickly, or you can make your own. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. You can use it. You can use it as your morning drink. Replace your coffee if you're a coffee drinker. You can use it as a meal replacement. You can cook with it. Um, you know, and whether you buy homemade or store bought, always check the ingredients. But yeah, it's delicious and highly nutritious. And bonus, it's good for babies. It's a great first food for babies. All right, tip number 5. Do not, I'm going to repeat myself, do not undereat with carnivore. There is no reason to be hungry on carnivore. None. Eating your proper human diet and your meats and fats is always beneficial. So, what I want you to do is not track calories, because calories don't mean anything. They don't weigh anything, and they really don't mean anything. So, we're going to not have to worry about that anymore. And we're just going to eat more hungry, and we're going to stop when we're full or when it stops tasting good. I find it just tastes like cardboard, or it's really hard to get down that last bite. Okay, I'm full. You know, make sure you get enough fat. A lot of people undereat fat. If you undereat fat, then you're going to have low energy and maybe not feel as full, as long. So make sure you get enough fat, and by doing that, or if you don't want to eat the fat on the steak, or you like leaner cuts of meat, you can always add in tallow, and or butter or ghee, and you can dip bites in it. You can pour it over meat. Tons of options. Pork rinds are good for extra fat. Bacon's good for extra fat. Lots of yummy, good fat and eggs. So make sure just to get in that fat and protein. I do a 70 fat, 30% protein ratio. It kind of depends on my activity level as well. So each person will have to find their own way. And if you want to know how to track your fat without using an app or counting, using numbers or math or anything, comment down below and I'll make a video about that. But yeah, and don't think you have to go to OMAD right away. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I only have to eat once a day. Let me tell you, in the beginning, I was eating like crazy. My body was healing so fast and needing that nutrients that I was eating like up to 6 pounds of meat a day. I'm not kidding, up to 6 pounds. Now it's tapered off. Some days it's 3 to 4 pounds. Other days it's maybe 1 to 2 pounds. It just depends on my activity level and, what I'm doing that day. But know in the beginning that you could be ravenous and just keep feeding that monster. Just keep eating and eating and eating until it doesn't taste good. On the other hand, like we talked about just earlier, you could not have any, you don't want food. You have an aversion to meat or something in the beginning, but that's common as well. All you have to do is fast, easy peasy. Just fast until meat sounds good, and trust me, it will sound good soon enough. So that's always an option. Number 6, I had to check my list. Stop obsessing over the scale. It's just a number, and it's a mixture of your bones, your muscle, your fat, your brain, your organs. Like, So let's just ignore the scale and go buy our clothes, like, or measurements. That's why I put the measurements in the journal, was because that shows much more accuracy in how you're progressing than a scale. And your clothes too, like, you'll just put on, that's, let me tell you, that's the one downside of carnivore, is constantly having to buy new clothes because you keep going down in size. Um, but yeah, so just go buy your clothes and measurements, and that's the best way, rather than going by the scale. All right, tip number 7. This one is social based. And, when you start the carnivore diet, you're going to get a lot of opinions that you didn't ask for. And my advice is, ignore them. Ignore the haters. They don't live in your body. They don't understand what you've gone through. They haven't lived your day to day. They don't know your pain level. They don't know any of it. So ignore them. I show, I say just show them by being. Just show them by improving your health, by slimming down, becoming stronger and more confident. And that will prove that this is the proper diet for you. If you need to explain something, and people are harping on you, just be like, I feel amazing when I eat this way, or this is the food and fuel that works best for me. You do you. This is what's best for me. And yeah, and just prove them wrong. Just prove them wrong with time. And that to me is a huge motivator. Just like, yeah, you think I'm going to die of a heart attack, or I'm going to end up on a statin, or whatever they, claim. Well, I'm getting stronger each day, and, you're just standing in line for a prescription. So, prove them wrong, and be confident in your choice, and know that you're doing the best, you're making the best decisions you can for you. All right, tip number 8, hydration. All right, what drinks are allowed on carnivore? That can be controversial, shockingly enough. But it's, I say bone broth and water. That's it. Maybe sparkling water, no sweeteners, no flavors. But yeah, I coffee still can irritate the gut, and it's plant-based. It's a seed, which is the most toxic of the plant. So I know coffee lovers hate me for this, but I highly suggest dumping the coffee. Maybe you can add it back in later on, but let's see how you feel off of all of it, and then build back up. And that will be the telltale sign if it affects you or not. And yeah, it's, just replace your coffee with some warm bone broth in the morning, and it's delicious. You won't really need the pick me up, the caffeine anymore, because you're going to be burning fat, and you're going to wake up excited and ready for each morning. So you won't even miss the caffeine. Tip number 9, and we kind of touched on this before, but it's very important, so we're going to talk about it in its own tip. Fat is fuel, and don't fear it. um, we've been conditioned and taught, oh, low fat, low fat, low fat, fat makes you fat. Well, it's the opposite. Fat is what burns fat. And so the higher fat diet you have, the more fat you're going to burn. And if you're like me, I don't particularly care to eat the fat on the steak unless it's cooked perfectly charred, the fat, not the steak. Then I just add tallow, and I make my own tallow from the cutoffs of our large cuts of meat, and it's basically free. And I jar it, and I just take a glob and melt it over my warm steak. I'll post a video here. And it's delicious. I also have a little metal dish of butter, and I dip each bite, whether it's ground beef, steak, even bacon, in butter, and butter makes everything better. So why not? You can also cook with pork or duck fat. Any fat works, and it can change the taste of your beef too if you're looking to switch it up a little bit. So don't fear fat. Fat is good, fat is delicious, and fat is what is going to give you the energy and fuel your cells in your brain. All right, this is our last tip for this video, and it's a good one. it's how to save money on carnivore. I get asked all the time, like, oh, you must be rich, you eat steak all the time. Well, A, I'm definitely not rich. And B, it's just not steak all the time. We eat a lot of ground beef, and I eat for about $3 to $4 a day, depending on how cheap we get our ground beef. And yeah, that's what it takes to feed me, a day, basically. Um, so how we do this is, and I have made a video, I'll link it down below, but we buy our cuts, whole cuts, and we butcher them ourselves, and we use every part of that cut. Other ways you can do it is to order like a whole cow or a half cow, 3/4. And my favorite place to get that from is Plainview Beef Company. And I will post our affiliate link down below. It's delicious, healthiest, like most perfect beef you can get, all grass fed. And, I interviewed Gabe he's the owner of Plainview Beef Company, and he's doing things a little different. So I'll link that video below as well. But yeah, so you can use all the parts of the cow. Once you learn how to do that, that saves money. Buying in bulk, whether it's at Costco or through a rancher like Gabe at Plainview, and get that whole half cow or whole cow, and that will save you a ton of money and set you up for a year of food. It can't beat that. Not grocery shopping for a year. Okay. So yeah, highly suggest that. All right, guys. So that was our part 2 of our carnivore diet hacks that you may not have seen anywhere else. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Let me know if you did. Let me know if you have any unique hacks for starting the carnivore diet down below. I'd love to hear about it. And yeah, thanks for all the support. Subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Make sure to share with your friends who are maybe thinking about starting carnivore or need a little kick in the pants. And yeah, I just thought of another one. I just thought of another tip. You want a bonus tip? Here's a bonus tip. When it does come to friends and family and you start feeling better and healing and you want to shout it from the rooftops like most of us do, just go in easy. Know that they have to come around to it in their own time, and may not be receptive to hearing about it right away. It can be hard to realize that you're a sugar addict, and I still struggle with that. I'm like, oh, I can handle it. No, we're a sugar addict, whether we want to be or not. It's just the way it is. And so just go with ease, and just kind of answer questions that they have. But if they want more information, be happy to share it or steer them in the right direction. But don't go in guns a-blazing and be like, you have to do this, because that might just push them away more. Anyways, that was the bonus one that I just thought of on the fly. Thanks again for watching. I truly, truly appreciate your support. Don't forget, we can join the Patreon for some community support. And I'd love to hear all about your carnivore journeys. Thanks all. Bye-bye.